George Washington running for president in 2024 would want to close or limit the openness of the borders of the United States Republic for two reasons: the trafficking of fentanyl and the trafficking of people coming through the borders and the ports of the United States Republic. Now, George Washington signed two, you could call it border security laws or acts in his time to understand what is coming into the United States, to know how things are going to be assimilated or people are going to be assimilated in today's culture, is something that George Washington would want to do. But other than that, we don't know how George Washington would implement that kind of border security. Now, he was a military person, so he might have personnel or a border wall. I'm sure he would be in favor of a border wall or some kind of security, maybe drones or something like that. I don't know. But definitely some kind of border security. And another thing, George Washington's 2024 platform would be to end the sex trafficking and slavery of today, because more people are enslaved today than ever before in the United States and in the world. About 800,000 people in the United States and about 8 million people in the world, whether it's forced labor in the cobalt mines of Africa or the P. Diddy trafficking case or the Jeffrey Epstein Island stuff. Whatever it may be, the trafficking needs to stop. And you can see George Washington's mindset change about slavery many, many times to understand that it's wrong and that the infiltration of foreign influence is impeding the stopping of that slavery. And George Washington would be disgusted that we haven't stopped that slavery of today, but that it has grown. Also, George Washington's 2024 platform would be to strengthen the Second Amendment and to not impede it, and to understand that having a Second Amendment and the right to defend yourself, your family, and your property is a right. It's not something that should be messed with. And I think George Washington, knowing today that we have a lot of energy and we have the oil and we have other things we can do for that energy and resources, we'd want to maximize that. And that because electric vehicles really are not profitable, George Washington would not want to do that unless they become profitable, which right now they are not. Also, the family nucleus. George Washington would want to protect the family nucleus in his 2024 platform because he was a stepfather. Martha Washington had children from her first marriage, and her husband died, Daniel, and then George Washington married Martha, knowing he'd have to step up and be a good father. And he was a good father, a stepfather to these children. And being a stepfather or being a dad is one of the most important things, if not the most important things, a man can do in his entire life. And protecting that example of a family nucleus and people working together with all these different ideas, and your community of people of where you live is very important. And George Washington would be in support of that, not damaging that family nucleus by impeding it with all these different viewpoints of sexuality that are very unbiblical. George Washington would also want to protect people in their health, especially looking at the holistic side of health and biblical view of health instead of a pharmaceutical way of health. Because when George Washington passed away, there were other things that I talk about in my POTUS1 book of how he passed away that was probably made his passing away or death sooner than anticipated. So these are things that George Washington would want for his presidential 2024 platform.